Hello, everyone, and welcome to Live with the Pricing Lady. I'm Janine Liston, your hostess for this show. This show is all about helping you get better at pricing in your business. We work on your pricing strategies, how to set those prices, how to communicate them so that ultimately you're charging for the value that you deliver and building a sustainable business for the future. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to today's special guest, Joy Foster. Hi, Joy.
Hello, I'm delighted to be one of your special guests.
I'm very excited to have Joy here with us today. We're going to be talking about how it took Joy so long to realize the value that she delivered. So Joy, why don't you start by telling us or introducing yourself?
Okay, well, this should definitely be a Don't Do What I Did podcast. I think I'm going to lay out all of the things I did you shouldn't do. So I'm the founder of Tech Fixies. We teach women how to leverage social media in order to return to work, change careers, or start a business. I've been running it since about October, November 2015 as a pilot project, and then we became a company in 2016. And then I went and raised money in 2018 and moved the whole program online. And so we've been running online full time pretty much for the last 2 years, and that's been a lot of fun.
Excellent. Well, it's been very interesting getting to know you over the past, month or so. And again, I'm thrilled to have you here on the show. Why don't we start this conversation, this sort of journey that you're going to take us on with, how you started your business and what was it like when you first started having to do or realized you needed to do pricing in your business?
Yeah, so like I said, I made a lot of mistakes. I ended up running my own business because I couldn't find a job that would work with what I wanted in life. So I was I wasn't a new mother yet, but I'd just gotten married, and I was in a recruiter's office, and I wanted to basically get a job and be a mother, and I thought, well, I'm getting married. I'll probably want to have children. So in the recruiter's office, I asked, how do I find companies that have a good maternity policy? And he literally walked me out of the office and was like, I can't help you. And that was kind of my very fast introduction to the corporate world and how they felt about maternity leave and mothers. And so I found myself kind of a home in a foreign country. I was living in Switzerland, which I think you are living in Switzerland. And I was a trailing spouse. I had a husband who was there on work. And so I was a little bit at a loss because I then did find myself pregnant and I couldn't get a job. And I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I learned German. And then I worked out that a lot of people were living in Switzerland that didn't actually speak German, and they needed the information about how to live in the area we lived in. So I just started translating the websites and helping answer questions. So I think the first lesson is just like, you want to solve a problem, right? So I was solving a problem that people had. And the funny thing is I didn't think I had a business. I just wanted to help people. And I think what we need to identify here is how many women are helping people and they don't think it's a business. And if it is taking your time away from your family and it's taking your time away from your ability to work in a paying job, then you have a business. And the only difference between being a volunteer and a business is the exchange of money. Mm-hmm. And so I would really encourage women to think about what they're doing. And, a lot of people think, oh, well, if this is easy to me and if I enjoy doing it, I shouldn't be able to charge for it. And that's very much a place I sat for a long time. Yeah. Is that like, how can you charge for something that you absolutely love? Because bearing in mind, a lot of my jobs up to that point, I had been paid well for, but I didn't love. So I had kind of equated getting paid to doing something I didn't love versus getting paid to doing something that I did love. And that was a huge transition I had to make. And so the first business I set up, I will just admit I made zero money for 5 years. Hold on. Let me just rephrase that. The organization that I set up, so I set it up as a nonprofit charity, that organization made money, but I never took a pay cut. And not only that, but I put my own money into setting it up, and I only just about got that money back. So I think my first exercise in pricing was I hate sales. I don't feel good enough to charge for it. And why should I charge for something that I love? And actually, maybe I would say it was, why should I charge for something that I love doing? That's probably the more, that was where I really struggled on charging. When I set up my second business, though, then I said, okay, I've got to pay myself, right? I'm going to pay myself something. But what I did was I undervalued myself. And so I set up a web development agency, building websites for charities, again, staying in that kind of charity nonprofit sector, always wanting to do good, always wanting to make life better for other people. And that was where I didn't feel like I was good enough to charge. And one of the reasons that I targeted small charities with low budgets is I didn't think I was a good enough web developer to go for bigger contracts and things like that. So there was then.
Joy, may I ask, where do you think that came from?
Not understanding how business works it came from that. When you're in an employed role, which I had been up until that point, in my previous career, I had always been in a paid role and I always got paid by somebody else. I never understood how they were able to pay me. Does that make sense? Like I wasn't sales. I mean, I was in sales, and I kind of saw how that worked. But like you look at your job, if you're getting paid and you don't really think, where did the money for this job come from? Right? What budget does my salary come out of? Like you don't think about that. So I had a really hard time switching from the employee to the boss.
I think that's a very common thing. Most people have come from having some sort of job at some point in their career, right? Or their life. And so that mindset shift, is really is an important one to be aware of in the context that it needs to happen, that you think differently when you own your own business.
Yeah. And like I said, the first time it was like, how can I get paid for doing something that I love? The second time is I'm not good enough to charge what I should be charging. Right. And then basically that got to a point where I decided that I wanted to scale the business, and it was not a scalable model. And what do I mean by that? I mean, like there was a limit to how much money I was ever going to make with that business. There was a limit to how much impact I was ever going to make, because at that point I had decided I was a social entrepreneur and that I was going to create a commercial solution that solved like a social problem basically. And the way that I'd set up that business was not scalable. It was a great job for one or two people to do and have one or two assistants, and that was it. And that really wasn't where I wanted to go impact-wise. And so that's when I set up Tech Pixies. And then even at Tech Pixies, even though I had the funding in place and even though I was taking a salary, it took me a very long time to charge what the course was worth. So one of the problems I ran into a lot was that I was selling, but the price was so low, I wasn't able to cover the overhead, which meant I had to take out loans. It meant I had to raise money. It meant I had to do crowdfunding campaigns. I actually made it really hard on myself. If I had started with a higher price from day one, it would have been a lot easier than it ended up being. So it took me a long time to change my, get my pricing up to where actually the pricing covers the cost of the business. It gives us a margin to grow the business. And, you could probably still argue that there's some room to raise the prices, but we've decided based on where the consumer is and what the environment is like, that we feel comfortable with what the price is right now. And we're looking for other ways to fund the growth of the business. But it is an interesting place to be, and understanding how to price is very difficult too. What to charge is very difficult.
Was that, Joy, was that natural for you to understand that financial side of the business and sort of, this trade-off, well, if I charge for this, then I can reinvest that over here? Was that something that came naturally for you?
Absolutely not. Like, the emoji with the monkey that's like got his hands on his eyes? That's me with the finances. I was always in sales. I was always in customer support. I was always in social media. I was always with people, and I just love people. I still love people. And my role has switched to being a coach, and I've got neuro coaching training and qualification now. So my role is solving problems and coaching people through problems. Like that is my bag. I'm really good at that. Bookkeeping is not my strength. Accounting, not my strength. Financial forecasting, really not my strength. And breaking down the product by what things cost, and breaking down our overhead expenses and working out what's variable and what's fixed, really not my bag. So I have learned how to do those things, mostly because I didn't do it correctly, and I had to clean up huge messes when you don't do those things. Right. I think when a woman says, and it's usually women, when a woman says, I just don't look at the numbers, like that's the biggest mistake you can make, because all of the answers are in the numbers. Now, what's happened is I got help with the numbers. I started asking for people to help me. And then the second thing is I started hiring people to help me. So the first step was asking for help. The second step was actually hiring people that could do it for me. I would say certainly with finances, you have to hire people who are trained and who've got certifications in those areas. I did the bookkeeping myself for a while. And then when I switched to a CPD, like certified kind of zero, badge person, it was amazing. Like she just transformed everything financially for us. So, knowing where your strengths and weaknesses are and then not staying in your weaknesses longer than you should is a really big thing to do.
It's funny because I think when people, and you're right, I think this is more common with women, although I do have male clients who struggle in a similar sense. But, when they just kind of want to hide from the financial side of their business, from talking and dealing with money and numbers, I liken it to kind of putting your big girl panties on.
Yeah, we talk about
because you're a business owner and you need to understand those things, because that's what's going to keep moving you forward into the future.
Absolutely. And the thing is financial forecasting is really important. And I mean, I was listening to, there's a great book called Rework, which is done by the guys who set up Basecamp. And it's only a 2-hour book. It's really, really fast. But one of the things they say is you do not need an 18-page business plan. You need a 1-page business plan, but you just need to know what you're doing. And then actually they said, it's not even called a plan. What did he call it? He's like a draft. It's like, here's the draft of what we're going to do, because things change really fast. Things change in our business all the time. And what we were doing last year, we're not doing this year. And we have to be able to pivot quickly in order to move forwards to that.
Right. So Joy, what was it that clued you in to the fact that you weren't undervaluing yourself?
Okay, well, this is a great question. And I think part of this stems from being a social entrepreneur, right? And, we've just had a live question come up around the social entrepreneur mindset. So one of the things that social entrepreneurs think is that I can't charge like a commercial rate for my work, right? Because it's in the social space. It's like running a charity. A social enterprise is not like running a charity, because a social enterprise is taking a social problem and solving it with a commercial idea. You are still a commercial business person. You just have a social element to you. And very interestingly, this is the way that business is going. So you're finding that big businesses are shifting towards a social impact direction, and they want to have both. And actually, the world is better off when you have both. And, one of the big pieces of advice I got was your ideal customer is the one who pays. And, and people pay to pay attention, or people who pay attention, which I think is also very, very true. So one thing I've learned is that, I am a social entrepreneur, but in those two words is the word entrepreneur. And, an entrepreneur, one of the jobs of an entrepreneur is to create jobs, right? And the best way to get the best people in the best jobs is to offer a commercial rate. And, and so you have to have an element of your product that is commercially viable. Otherwise, it doesn't work. So, that's something that we've had to do. I think in terms of, the confidence level, I should have had a lot more confidence sooner than I did. The very first pilot program we did with 12 women, within a year, all 12 of them had returned to work, changed careers, or started a business. And the crazy thing is that we had women in that program who'd been out of work for as little as 6 months and as much as 20 years. And I think I should have known then that what I had was valuable. What I didn't understand and what I didn't get around my head was that I then had to translate the value to the customer. And in some industries, it's much easier to translate the value than others. You can just look around and say, oh, well, this is what somebody else is charging for that. And that gives you a pretty good idea. This industry, it's, there are online courses in social media, and they're anywhere from like 10 pounds all the way
nothing,
up to
nothing to infinity is what I say.
Yeah. And you're like, well, where do I fit on there? And I think what I had to start understanding was the value of the live coaching that we do. So our program involves a lot of live coaching, and that's actually where the value is. And we have this no question left behind rule and stuff like that. So, you know, and to be honest, the easiest way to test out your pricing is just to raise your prices. And people are so scared of that. And the biggest pricing change for me was when I went from, I think it was like 700 or 900 pounds to 1,500 pounds. That was a huge leap. And bearing in mind that to get to 900 pounds, I'd gone up from 180 to 450 to 650 to 900. So already in my head, I was going from a product that was 180 to 900. And then when I had to go from 900 to 1,500, I almost freaked out because that was like doubling the prices. It wasn't completely doubling the prices, but it felt like doubling the prices. And I read a book called Fear is Not the Boss of You by Jennifer Allwood. In fact, I'm in her inner circle. I was on a call with her yesterday. I've interviewed her for the book club, the Joy Book Club. And I was on I listened to her book, and I messaged her personally. And I was like, you know, I'm so scared to do this. And she messaged me back and was like, you know, go for it. Right. And it was incredible to have an author of a book that now is one of the top sellers in the US actually reply back to me and kind of give me that encouragement. I also did a coaching call with a neuro coach, which now I'm being certified as, and she really pushed me. She said, you know, basically, you know, do I think my product is worth 10 times what you're selling it for? And it's like, well, yeah, because I knew that someone with the skills that they had from the course, they could go get a job and they could earn that in a week, 2 weeks, a month. You know, they could get that money back. And if you got, let's say you just earned the 1,500 back in 1 month, you would be actually just in 10 months, you could be 15,000 pounds better off. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes, 100%. I believe that. And so that helped me as well. And again, my product helps people return to work. So there is value in that, because when they get a job or when they start a business and when they start earning, they actually get that money back. So that helps. But I think the last thing too is knowing our conversion rates, you know, knowing that our business model was working. And so once we knew the business model was working, raising the prices was more of a fear issue that I had to overcome. You know, and I had a customer once when I was building websites, and she was like, well, I can't afford to pay you. And I said, well, you just told me that you booked out for the rest of the year. And she said, yeah. And I said, well, then you need to raise your prices, because if you raise your prices, you can afford me, you know? And so I think it's all around fear. It's all around fear.
It's all around fear. Okay. We do have a question from someone, but before I get into that, real quick, if you knew then what you knew now, would you still start at 180 and keep inching your way up, or would you do something different?
Oh my gosh. If I knew what I know now, I would have started at 650. Or 450, because what I didn't realize is the fact that I was doing live coaching was worth more, you know. And to be fair, let me just put this out here. If you did the 180 program, you didn't get live coaching. So I have to be honest about that. But even right now, if we were to pull the live coaching element, the course itself is worth 900 pounds without the live coaching. It's the live coaching that's worth more. But what all the coaching training I've done since then, they would say, if you ever launch a live coaching program for 6 weeks, right? And I'm talking 6 weeks. So if you do a live coaching program for 6 weeks, that is worth 600 pounds. Yeah. That's what that is worth, right? Now, our program is you get access for 12 months and you can repeat a 6-week program 6 times. So really our pricing, if you just were to go on that number, we're 6 times 600. That's really what we should be charging 3,600. And we're not even charging that yet. So,
all right. You hear that, ladies and gentlemen. Get it now.
That's industry standard, you know, and part of doing your pricing research is what is industry standard.
Right. So we have a question here from Clemency. She says, hi, Joy. I'm struggling to find the balance between wanting to help others and be available to as many as possible, but equally make enough to make it viable. Any advice for mindset being a social entrepreneur?
Yeah. So that just goes back to what I learned from my online mentor, Amy Porterfield, which is your ideal customer is the one who pays you. And that's, she learned that from Marie Forleo. And I did Marie Forleo's B School. And Marie Forleo says that all the time. She even talks about the no train, like get on the no train, you know, just learn how to say no. The very first exercise when you do B School with Marie Forleo is learning how to get on the no train. How am I going to say no to things? And that's a very powerful exercise because I started doing that. I started saying, no, I'm not going to do that. Nope, I'm not going to do that. Nope, I'm not going to do that. Right. And so really getting clear on what you need to do to move the needle forwards. And listen, if you're a social entrepreneur, yes, you want to help people, right? But a social entrepreneur solves a social problem with a commercially viable idea. So your product has to be something like a portion of your revenue can go back to solving a problem, or the recipients of your product can get it at a reduced price, which is what we do at Tech Pixie. So if someone's on Universal Credit or PIP or ESA, we give them a reduction in price, but they still have to pay. Here's a lesson I learned as well. And that is that if you give someone something for free, the likelihood they're going to do it is very slim. And in fact, Jennifer Allwood, the book that I just told you about, the Fear is Not the Boss of Me, on the call I was with her last night, she was talking about this because someone said, you know, a lot of people right now, they're really struggling, and should I give it to people for free? And she said, here's what I did. I gave 10 courses away for free. And she said, and I had my team go in and check how those people did. And what she found is that 8 of the 10 people never even opened up the course. And then 2 of the 10 got through the first module and never got beyond it. There is a reason why people want things for free, because they don't value them and they're not going to go and, you know, pay for it. We ask people, even if they're below the poverty line, we ask them to pay a percentage towards the course, because we know that if they pay, they will pay attention. And so the first piece of advice, Clemency, I can give you is your customers are the ones who pay you. And then how you choose to use that money to serve others is up to you. But you really want to work on the commercially viable part first, and then the social impact part second.
Right. I mean, well, if you can't find a way to generate cash and have a sustainable business, you won't be able to be there to serve them later. Right.
Well, so and you're not a business, and you're a charity.
Well, you're not a business. Right.
Yeah. And, you know, quite frankly, even in the social enterprise world, we just applied for this huge grant. It's from the Inclusive Recovery Fund. And they wanted to know that 80% or more of our revenue came from trading. Right. So even though they wanted, and we have to have a mission lock in our legal documents that say 51% of profits will be reinvested. The reality is 100% of our profits are reinvested in our business, but we have actually a legal clause that says 51% of our profits are reinvested. But the other side of that is that even the funders who want to fund us, they want a guarantee that majority of our revenue is not coming from grants. They call it grant junkies. You know, you don't want to be a social entrepreneur who's also a grant junkie.
Right. Well, quickly you become a charity. And that's one other thing I wanted to point out is that even if you're starting a charity, you still have to figure out how you're going to bring donations in, how you're going to spend that money, how you're going to sell people on the value of supporting your charity, you know, so that all the same principles apply. I'd like people to understand that just because it's a charity or a social enterprise or a business, a lot of the things that you need to consider are actually the same in the end.
Well, and that's why you see at the moment, some charities are doing very well right now, and some are really struggling because it depends on how they offer their service and how they take care of their donors. You know, that's really, really important, because in this time period, everyone's fighting for money, and you've got to be able to show it. I mean, it's really interesting because my daughter, for Christmas a couple of years ago, she decided that she was going to give a portion of her money that comes in from gifts and things to the one of the dog charities, for the seeing eye dogs. And I was thinking about them the other day because I thought, this is a brilliant charity, because what they've done is they've taken her small monthly donation, which is, you know, not a lot, but it's something. She gets a magnet with the dog that she's sponsored for the year. So that sits on the kitchen, you know, in the kitchen. We see it all the time. And then we get a postcard once a quarter showing the progress of the dog that she's sponsored. I think the dog this year is Marley. And, you know, and so we get pictures of Marley and we get the story of Marley, right? And so there's also a way for charities to serve their customers in a way that they keep their customers for the next year. And they are customers in the sense that they're giving, you know, exchanging money, but you know, charities have to also be clever about how they do things.
Yeah, no, it's very true. So Joy, we're coming to the end of our time here. And if you could, you know, give people one word of advice or one sentence of advice, what is it that you would offer them when it comes to realizing the value that they deliver?
So 2 words, actually, right there. Be brave. I think what we have to recognize is that there's a huge amount of fear associated with pricing. There's a huge amount of fear associated with selling. There's a huge amount of fear, you know, with growth in your business. And there's a huge amount of fear taking a salary for yourself. And so I think the first thing is to recognize that it is fear and just fear. And then the second thing is to do the work to overcome the fear. So I can tell you a couple books that really changed my life in terms of overcoming fear. One was called The Illusion of Money by Kyle Cease. Another one is called The Power of the Subconscious Mind. I can't remember who that was by, but that was also really good. Marie Forleo's book, Everything is Figure Outable, is also very good. And then in terms of sales, where a lot of people struggle with sales is, you know, feeling like it's slimy. And I think the person that answers that and flips that on its head is Elisa Sasevich with her book, Mint for More. And so that's a really good one as well. But I think educating yourself is one of the first steps, and then getting coaching. You know, I'm a neuro coach now, and I work with a neuro coach. And one of the things that I've learned is there's a ton of power in your subconscious mind. And think about your subconscious mind like this. Your subconscious mind has no willpower whatsoever. It does what it's told. Literally, like it has no willpower. It has no mind of its own. It does what you tell it. So what you have to do is, if you want to change the outside world, you have to change the inside world. And that starts with reprogramming your subconscious mind. And that starts with awareness, and just being aware that you are scared of something means that you can then go find someone to help you overcome that fear. And I'll tell you what, you know, the biggest fear for me was raising the prices. Well, I had zero problem whatsoever raising the price. You know, I told you I almost freaked out. From 900 to 1,500, I freaked out. From 1,500 to 2,000, I literally didn't even blink. I just did it. And from 2,000 to 2,397, I just did it, right? I didn't panic about it. I didn't even worry about it. I didn't even tell the investors I was doing it. I just did it. And it was one of those things where it's like, I felt so comfortable and confident with the price that I was like, yep, that's what we're doing. Right. And then the second thing that that made a huge difference was, you know, once I knew how I was getting sales, it was doubling down on spending money on Facebook ads, for example. Huge amount of fear I had to overcome with that. So you know, and we spent a lot of money on ads, and it was more money than I'd paid myself in a year. And I thought, well, how can I do that? And is it going to work? You know, because your brain goes to the worst case scenario. So always, if your brain's going to go to the worst case scenario, that's fine, but let it also come back to the best case scenario and think, well, what if this worked? And what if 100 people signed up to what I'm selling? You know, what would that look like? And, you know, now we're thinking, well, what if 1,000 people sign up to what we're selling? What does that look like? And, you know, what that looks like is 1,000 people's lives change. That's what it looks like. And so if you spend your time focusing on what might happen, you might as well spend your time focusing on what might happen in the positive rather than what might happen in the negative. And you're much more likely to get it.
Right, right. Very good. Thank you so much for that. Those are some words of wisdom and to live by, I think, not just in the context of pricing, but in many different contexts. So thank you so much for sharing with us, Joy, today. It sounds like it's been a long and arduous journey.
Yes,
And
it
I think
has.
one of the things that, you know, it's good to point out at the end here is that, you know, we go through these phases and you come up to new challenges and new fears. And if you've applied the skills that you're talking about in the past, then they get easier to apply as you meet bigger and greater challenges along the way.
Yeah, it's like a snowball effect. You know, that's what we like to say about being brave. You know, if you're brave once, and this is going back to Jennifer Allwood, like my favorite quote from her is, you know, basically, well, Amy Porterfield says, if you don't have the confidence, grab the courage. And I love how Jennifer follows that up with courage is doing something that you've never done before and realizing you didn't die. And that's so important because I think people, they without realizing it, and again, your subconscious brain doesn't know the difference between real death and imagined death. And so when you're making a decision that feels like fear, your subconscious mind they're equating it to real death when actually it's just not really death. And so her point is, if you're courageous and you do something you've never done before and you realize I'm still alive, your brain goes, oh, that's not as bad as it was. And or it's not as bad as I thought it was. And then if it works, your brain gets really excited and then it wants to do it again. Exactly. And what becomes unstoppable is, you know, when you go from being kind of, you know, when you become unstoppable is when you're very confident in what you have to deliver, that the service you have is good, that you know, people's lives change, and you charge what it's worth. And I think that's when you see companies take off, there's an alignment on the inside and the outside. And until that alignment happens, your business can't take off.
Right. Very good. So Joy, if people want to find out more about you and Tech Pixies, where can they go? Well, not Texas, Tech Pixies. Yeah.
Tech Pixies is not in Texas yet. If you go to techpixies.com, we've got all of the links there. You can listen to our podcast. It's called Sparkle and Thrive. It's on Apple. It's also on Spotify. You can also listen to it on our website. You can watch it live on our Facebook page every Thursday at 10 a.m. We also have a book called Social Media Success. It's only £5.90. It's a great investment if you're thinking about trying to understand social media. And so I would encourage you to go check it out, techpixies.com or Tech Pixies on all the social media networks.
Perfect. I love it. So thanks once again for being here with us today. Thanks to those of you who have watched us live and those of you who are watching later on. Thank you for joining us. Of course, if you ever have questions about pricing or if you'd like to explore how I can help you improve your pricing, you can head on over to JanineListon.com/discovery call and book a session with me. That's all for this week, ladies and gentlemen. I wish you all the best. And as always, everyone, enjoy pricing.